I had been living alone on the farm ever since my wife, Andrea, passed away from cancer a few years ago. Her absence was a constant ache in my heart, a hollow feeling that seemed to grow with each passing day. My only child, Susan, was away at college, pursuing her dreams and building a life of her own. I was proud of her, but her absence only amplified the silence that now enveloped the farm. One summer evening, I drove into town for supplies. The air was thick with humidity, and the sky was painted with the soft hues of an early evening sun, signaling the approaching night. As I walked down the main street, I noticed something unusual. The town's dogs were going crazy. Dogs that were usually calm and friendly were barking insistently, their howls echoing through the streets. The owners struggled to control their pets, and a few had even been bitten in their attempts to calm them down. I watched as a couple wrestled with their normally gentle Labrador, which now snarled and snapped at anyone who came near. A cold shudder coursed through me. The dog's eyes seemed to dart around as if they could see something that we humans couldn't. The town, usually a picture of quiet pastoral charm, was now filled with an unsettling energy. As the sun began its slow descent behind the rolling hills, painting the farm with lengthy shadows, I was knee-deep in the day's work. I had been fixing a section of the fence that had been damaged by a recent storm, the tools clinging in my hands as I worked. Suddenly, Rusty, my loyal old hound, started barking furiously, his normally gentle demeanor replaced by a sense of agitation. I looked up, wiping sweat from my brow, and followed his gaze. At first, I couldn't see anything out of the ordinary, just the vast expanse of the South Dakota sky turning shades of orange and pink. But then, I saw it. Something large and dark, moving swiftly across the sky. I felt a shock of alarm as I tried to make out what it was, but the light was fading fast, and soon it disappeared into the gathering darkness. After a simple dinner and a long day's work, I settled in front of the TV, letting the moving images blend into my thoughts. The day's fatigue began to catch up with me, and I felt myself drifting off, the drone of the TV lulling me into a half-sleep. But then, I heard Rusty again, barking furiously. At first, I tried to ignore it, chalking it up to some nocturnal critter wandering too close to the farm. But Rusty's barks grew louder and more aggressive, piercing through the quiet night. I sighed and pushed myself up from the worn-out armchair, slipping on my boots and stepping outside. The night air was cool against my skin, and I looked up, expecting to see a coyote or a stray dog causing the commotion. Instead, my gaze was met with the sight of a blood moon, casting an eerie red glow over the farm. I called out to Rusty, trying to calm him down. "Good boy, Rusty," I said, my voice wavering slightly. Rusty obeyed, but his sight was fixed on the barn house, his body tense. I followed his sights and felt my blood run cold. Perched on top of the barn house was a dark silhouette, unmistakably human, but impossibly tall and thin. The figure seemed to blend with the shadows, but its presence was undeniable. As I stared, it seemed to shift, its form flickering like a mirage, until it faded away entirely, leaving only the unnerving feeling of being watched. I hurried back into the house, my heart pounding in my chest. I grabbed my rifle from the closet, a growing tension building within me. As I stepped back outside, I made sure to keep Rusty close, holding him on a leash as we made our way towards the barn. The night was eerily silent now, the only sound being the crunch of gravel beneath my boots. I scanned the area around the barn, my grip tightening on the rifle. The figure was nowhere to be seen, but I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. Rusty suddenly growled, his fur bristling as he stared at the barn door. My eyes followed his point of focus, and I saw that it was slightly ajar. swinging gently in the breeze. The darkness beyond the door seemed impenetrable, a black void that swallowed the blood-red moonlight. I approached cautiously, my senses on high alert. As I pushed the door open, a wave of musty air hit me, accompanied by a faint rustling sound from inside. I flicked on my flashlight, the beam cutting through the darkness. I felt a cold shiver of fear as I looked at what lay ahead. There, in the corner of the barn, stood the figure. It was tall and thin, its silhouette blending with the shadows. Its eyes glowed with a malevolent red light, reflecting the beam of the flashlight. But what truly set it apart were its wings. They were large and black, resembling those of a raven. They twitched slightly, as if ready to take flight, and I could see the feathers ruffle in the dim light. I raised my rifle, my hands trembling. The sight before me was like something out of a nightmare, and I knew whatever this creature was not of this world. "Who are you?" I demanded, my voice shaky but firm. It didn't answer, just continued to stare at me with these red glowing eyes. I took a step forward, my finger tightening on the trigger. But then, with a sudden, deliberate movement, the thing unfurled with its wings and launched itself into the air. Its wings beat with a thunderous sound, stirring up a whirlwind of dust and hay. As it ascended, it turned to look at me, its eyes gleaming with an otherworldly light, before disappearing into the night sky with a mocking screech. Reacting on instinct, I raised my rifle and fired, the shot echoing through the stillness of the night. The bullet whizzed past where the creature had been moments before, striking the wooden beam of the barn with a loud thud. Rusty barked furiously, his hackles raised as he stared up at the now empty sky, a low growl rumbling in his throat. I stood there for a moment, my heart pounding in my chest, the weight of what had just happened sinking in. Whatever this thing was dangerous. I hurried back to the house and called the local police, reporting what I had seen. To my surprise, the officer on the line didn't dismiss my story. In fact, he told me that several others had reported similar sightings in the area, and that one person had been found dead, their body mangled and torn apart in a manner that defied explanation. As more reports came in, and the descriptions of the creature matched what I had seen, we began to refer to it as the Raven Man. The town was gripped by fear, and rumors spread like wildfire. In the days that followed, I couldn't shake the feeling of dread that hung over the town. Every time the moon rose red in the sky, casting an eerie glow over the farm, I couldn't help but wonder if the Raven Man was watching, waiting for his next victim. And so I lived in fear, knowing that the darkness held secrets that I could never fully understand.